Hi. Just a quick message. I made a really big decision in my life and I applied for California disability. It's a long story. I did something the other day where I saw my 90-year-old self, except that I'm 57, almost going 58. And I had to ask myself, just because I can hobble down staircases and just barely hang on with my bad right hand, should I be doing this? And at what point are we disabled? I really don't know, but I have been in kind of a denial, and something punctured through my awareness. I have been living, I have really severe arthritis, bone on both knees, since I was 36, so for the last 20 years. And when it swells and freezes, it's extremely painful, and it can happen at any point. I think it's only happened 10 times in 20 years, which are pretty good odds. But I've been kind of in a denial on many levels. Like, I can't, technically, if I drive somewhere for an hour, my knees could swell and freeze and lock and have that instant pain. And I could be on a highway while that happens. I've been in denial about that. If I go, I've been dreaming that I can still go hiking in this beautiful Bay Area. I know that I can't do hills anymore because I can't go downhill at all. But somehow in my mind, I'm thinking I'm going to fix my body and I can still go hiking. But again, if the arthritic knees do the explosion thing, and I am out on a trail with strangers, somebody is going to have to help me limp back to my car. And then from that point on, I can't even drive, right? I'm pretty aware with what all I can and can't do with my right hand, and there's definitely grief around that. This is part 2 of my little disabilities note. So 3 weeks ago, my sister and her wife and I went to see a documentary in Oakland called Crip Camp about the historical path of disability rights in the United States. And it was very eye-opening, and there's so many things I could say about this movie. I really recommend it. But the idea of hidden disabilities came up, and I think maybe that is what got me thinking about my own body, and that I look pretty able-bodied, but there's a growing list of things that I can't do. And the other thing about this movie, made by 2 local Bay Area directors, which I think is so moving when film directors make movies that matter and help change the world. So go see the movie. The stories about the people, specifically, there was one woman who had no idea about disabilities, and then she was hit by a car at a pretty young age, and from that point forward she couldn't use her lower body, and her life completely changed. And so she became more empathetic and more of an advocate because of that accident. And what are the ways that we can open our hearts, without accidents happening, is kind of one of my themes. How can we become more open to and empathetic and compassionate to each other's plights on earth? Who can we vote for that makes a difference? Who can we, what decisions can we make? So I'm just sending lots of love. Okay, bye.